Welcome
Shalom.
everybody, hi Tzip.
Hi, Tzili.
Uh,
אני מוכרחה להגיד, I have to say something. Before we even start, we don't know, Uri, people, will introduce you in a minute, Uri Ben Ari. Ben Ari? Right.
yeah.
But I just talked with my grandson, Itai. He's in the 4th grade, and I told him that I'm going to see you. And he said, wait a minute, we don't know yet what you do, but he said, this is a guy who developed this room that I'm so unhappy because I will not be able to see it. It will not be in my classroom. And he's very upset because he is in Tel Aviv, in Bet Sefer. The name of the Bet Sefer is Gordon. It's a good school. Name of the school is Gordon. And he said, my wish, my dream is to have the room that he created. Now,
Great,
Please
great
tell us
news.
about this room and why Tzipi's grandson is so upset.
Well, first of all, your grandson could have this room. He should call Ron Huldai and ask him to, the mayor, and ask him to make sure he has such a room. And, but I'll tell you about the room and about the background. First of all, this room is called the Imagine Box. It is a registered trademark. And we have used with this room a technology that is immersive technology that can turn the room into any place you want to be at, like in virtual reality.
It can be in the classroom,
in the
or
classroom.
it has to be another.
This is the future classroom.
This is
you
the
will
classroom.
see soon. This is the classroom.
Smart.
You go into the classroom and you can see behind me the children. They can work with the walls. There are a lot of data. There is a lot of data. Information could be text, could be video, could be photos, could be voice, and they can just walk around the walls and touch them. And this is an interactive, immersive room. We are a non-profit organization, Athena Fund, that I initiated about 15 years ago. After many years at the high tech, I've sold my shares and I've decided to empower teachers in Israel because I think teachers are the backbone of our society. And
you think so?
I'm sure so.
We do, maybe, but so many people today.
But wait.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think many people do not appreciate and underestimate teachers. And I've decided to take the role of empowering the teachers in Israel. I found out that 85% are women. Therefore, I called it Athena, after the goddess of wisdom. And I thought it's an empowerment of women project. And the first project that we have done is giving the teachers a laptop. I've decided that every teacher must have a laptop computer, personal, together with technology, training, together with training, and also have in the classroom internet, overhead projector, support, and training. So we have done so in the last years. We gave 30,000 laptop computers and iPads to teachers all over Israel in 177 municipalities around Israel.
How did you choose whom to give it to?
Well, first of all, we worked with the mayors who have agreed to our project because we had some demands from the mayor to install internet and to put overhead projectors and sometimes participate. We raised a lot of funds from donors and from foundations. We worked together with the government, with the Ministry of Education, who took care of the training. We worked with the Union of the Teachers and with the Bank of the Teacher, Bank Masad, and we raised around $50 million to date in order to give these digital toolboxes to the teachers.
So I want to tell you that it's amazing because in the last year, I go to the classroom with nothing. I enter the classroom, I don't need notes, I don't need handouts, nothing. I go in every classroom, there is a computer, I log in, all my material is there, and I just It's you know, it's in the board, and the kids can put everything that they do. We can read it on the board. It's different life. And now you bring it to the, you know, to elementary school and high school.
I think that the teacher must have a personal laptop computer because she is working at home. She prepares homework. She has to communicate with parents. She has to communicate with her peers and with the. In Israel, there is a lot of supervisors that you have to report to. You have to report every day. So I thought, and I still think, that every teacher must have a personal laptop with training. That's what we have been doing. And what brought us to this new project is another project that we have done. We gave 10,000 iPads to teachers in special education. And there we have found a huge change that we have done. You know, children with autism, 19 years old, you know about autism. So imagine a child, 19 years old, never spoke, never had an eye contact with his mother, and there was no communication. Now, after getting, you know, the teacher received the iPad, she taught him how to type, and he can type now, Mom, I love you. Mom, I'm cold. Mom, I'm afraid. So it was amazing change for all of us. And we have received the international recognition by the UN. We are in a status of NGO consultant at the UN. And I appeared 2 times, last year and this year, at the UN in a conference for people with special disabilities and special needs. And I spoke about the change that technology can do for these people. And also UNESCO actually became, I have been a member at the task force for teachers 2030 with UNESCO. And there they came to me and asked, what do you think the future classroom looks like? Which technologies we can use? So I was looking for the last few years about the new technologies. And I've found this technology that can really turn the room to become any place you want to be. You can visit every place in the world. You can visit 2,000 museums. So I can take the children, think about it, in the periphery to visit any museum. Right. We can go to the Natural History Museum in New York from the classroom. Right. And every teacher can make the class. I mean, like, she can prepare the class by herself. She doesn't need any expert to do this. And she can make classes all over with this technology.
Yeah, you know, this is amazing, because if you think about it, one thing which is nice, that my grandchildren sing the same songs in the holidays. It's the same song, you know, so that's wonderful. But on the other hand, the classroom didn't change from our time.
For 200 years. 200 years,
unbelievable.
There was no change.
No change
in the classroom.
They sit like this, and by the way, now I think many more of them are bored. They cannot sit like this.
Much.
Only now?
Not only
no. I think it's much more. It's worse.
I'll tell you about the children. I'll tell you about the children of this generation. They call it Generation Z and Generation Alpha. They are more intelligent by 17%, more than the previous generation. They are not interested anymore in the written word, but they use, you know, emojis, and they don't have patience for anything. They want everything immediately. And they would like to have an experience rather than a teacher standing and lecturing to them. So,
but I think also, you know, the 5 senses that we grew up with don't serve them the way they served us, and they have a little bit different senses, and they are a little bit on delay on the same senses that we grew up with. But I wanted to ask you something, because the whole educational thing, we all have kids, grandkids, you know, the whole education big subject is very disappointing on so many levels, because, you know, if you talk about the systems, and if you talk about the schools, and if you talk about people that send their kids to schools, and you talk about projects, there is no balance, because the private projects like what you're talking about are breakthrough progressive process of projects. If you think about the system, it's backwards. If you think about the majority of the people, they don't really give education and educational people the room that they need to give, because the importance of that, it's beyond. And there is each one is pulling to someplace else, and there is no balance. How do you create an environment that it will be more balanced, more progressive, and very, very serving well everybody?
Yeah, but remember that, private people like him, are bringing the change, not the Ministry of Education. So how can you slap them to come in?
The system is not really grabbing them both
No,
hands.
they don't have tools.
Well, I'll try to answer you. The system, I think, not only in Israel, in the public education hasn't been changed for almost 200 years. There was no any disruption by technology. They still teach the same every place, with 40 kids in the school, and one teacher stands by the blackboard and lectures. And I think the technology is enabling to change. Like there was a disruption in Uber, in the taxis, in hotels, Airbnb, like in retail, Amazon. You have seen the technology has changed many sectors. In education, nothing happened until recently. I think the Corona has changed a bit. The fact that you started using Zoom came thanks to the technology and of course in the education system. And I think the teachers haven't been taught enough to utilize technology, because the decision makers in the most of the ministries of education are at the age that they did not study with technology.
Yes.
I wouldn't say they are afraid of, but they are not pushed to do that.
No, I admit I have difficulties. I have difficulties to absorb all the technologies that the university wants me to implement. I'm telling you, I have to have my kids helping me.
But I know.
We all know that people like you pull the trigger, push everybody, and then it takes time till everybody goes along. I remember when my kids went to elementary Jewish school in New York 20 years ago. It was a very small progressive school. They told me, the teachers asked me, don't help them at home because you take them backward. I said, I can tell them what I know. Why don't you do homework at school and leave us alone to do our things at home? So the principal told me, you know what it means to have homework? I said, that's BS, you can do it at school. But at the same time, they asked us to come to have private classes in the evening so that we understand what they do. You think I understood what they did? Nothing. Not in mathematics. So I said, okay, you're on your own. That's fine with me. The thing was that the parents picked up this school because it was progressive. But once they needed to compare it to the others and they couldn't understand, they started to back off. So, and then they needed to move to another school. So they say, how do we go to another school? They're not leveled. And slowly, they basically shot themselves in the leg and in the head, because whatever they chose as progressive, they couldn't catch up with. And they killed up the whole thing. This is only one thing. And I think that, the whole education thing is much bigger, because we are now in the United States and the whole society is built in a very specific way that serves the system. And to break this, it's almost to commit suicide. So you have to come up with all the private things, which it's another problem, because there's no reason why not for the public system to get everything goody, as long as it's really good. In Israel, it's a bit different, but the bureaucracy, it's so complicated.
Do you encounter it?
What do you do with this?
It is. Well, you have to adapt. It took me time to adapt to, to work with the ministry. but I think I cope with that. I think, and you have to understand my mission. My mission is to empower teachers. I think, as I told you, the teachers are the most important part of the education system.
Absolutely.
I think government do not realize it yet.
Yes.
People do not realize it yet. They think about the children as the customers of the system. They do not understand the human power, like the capital that they have.
Right.
But when we grew up, they understood the
Yes,
teachers
Of
were
course,
innocent.
Our
This went
teachers were
down
really,
over the
yeah,
years.
right, right.
There was respect.
Yes, total respect.
Then, when we were younger, teachers had a lot of respect. You
Yes.
stood up for the
And good
teacher,
salaries.
and the parents respect the teachers. Unfortunately, during the years, I think many women went to this profession, and I think the decision makers, I wouldn't say despise them, but they disrespect them.
Right.
And this is, and many people do not want to be teachers anymore.
Right.
So we choose people who do want, but they do not have the qualifications. You know, we receive teachers that do not have, they cannot qualify for university. They are going to become teachers, sometimes with bad language or, bad understanding. But all in all, I think we have a good system, in Israel. I have to say that I thought like you at the beginning, and I found out there are many good teachers, many good managers,
Yes, of course.
are very devoted, and the proof is in the pudding. I just give to you an example how many pilots, how many good high-tech people, how many engineers, how many doctors that we have in Israel. They were taught in Israel, not in Finland,
Right.
not in Korea, not in China. And I think we should be very proud of it. However, we have to do everything in our power to give everything for the teachers for the future.
Yeah, but
And
it's
that's
very
my
difficult
mission.
for them. The old way of teaching, when we were kids, it was fine. And then it deteriorated. And now we have so much violence in the classroom
Exactly.
because there is nothing to hold their attention.
Also from
So the
parents.
violence went so
Also,
really
also
terrible.
from parents.
Oh, no.
In our time.
We
I
didn't
think-
have violence. I don't remember violence in the school. What can I say? I don't remember any
but
violence.
Depends where.
Well, I think violence is everywhere, not only in schools. Unfortunately, I think there is a lot of violence
Everywhere.
coming by our leaders
Right.
in America and in Israel
Right.
and in
in
other
Hungary.
countries. So I think
Everywhere.
some things were getting loose. But
Do you
we
think
cannot change-
about? Sorry. Do you think I see the picture in behind you, and it's
Yes.
almost like if you divide the class into groups, and they actually prepare,
No, in
something.
this case, if I can share with you some presentation,
Yes,
if
sure.
you like, the idea is that this room is a 6 by 4 meters. The width of the screen is 4 meters. So you just build it into the classroom, and the pedagogy is changing because the teacher can prepare her homework, or she can prepare the classroom, and she can just utilize it and show the children, take them anywhere. Let me
But I want to
try-
ask you something before that, Uri.
Yes,
Do you
please.
prepare all kinds of room, or you prepare a foundation that the teacher can choose what she wants and fit the system?
Well, it's two things. First of all, we supply actually the infrastructure, but the idea is that the teacher can prepare the classes, and like you see in the back about sharks, so she can put in text, she can put in video, and also questions for the children so they can really experience it. She can take them to museums, to visit museums around the world, and she can take them to visit New York or visit the Natural History Museum and walk through the floors and just visit everything. She can show them the body, the human body in 3 dimensions.
and flip it and just show it all around. So we think it's the future classroom. We also have a good cooperation with our Ministry of Education. We have a consensus about that this should be the next or future classroom. And we are very happy that we can really get it to schools. We are a fund, going for funds from federations in the United States, in Canada, in England, in Australia, and we look for donations in order to help these children to have these rooms.
But
in addition,
just a second, because we're talking about a huge change. Do you have it in every classroom? How many kids can be? No. I'm talking about one school, one building, like first, second, third grade, or there is a room that everybody has to share. How many kids can go into the room and how do they sit in the room? What's the arrangement and how many teachers are there? Because it's not like flip-flop and you change everything.
Sure. No, it's a long process. Our plan is for 10 years, that in 10 years, my vision is that every classroom would look like that. Meanwhile, we are starting now to have one room like this in one school in every city in Israel as the beginning. We got 30 by the end of this year. We plan 100 next year and probably 300 to 500 in the next couple of years. We have about 1,000 schools in 4 or 5 years. That's the direction. Later on, we will have one room in every school in Israel. There are about 4,000 schools. And then I think it will take 10 years or maybe less to have such a room in every classroom. This will be the way the children will study. They will, the old way is old way. It's like today you go to deserted countries in Africa and you see they study, under the tree or in a very old, hut, and they sit and learn. This is very old way to learn. But today with technology, the children can adapt a lot of data very quickly with videos, with text, with a voiceover, and they can prepare and they can learn and they can make themselves a lot of simulations within this.
I want to ask you something, Uri, because it's very tempting and it's very playful. And there's something about nowadays that everybody wants to do more and faster and get someplace. Where does it take us?
Well, it's a great question because the world has changed. When we look at the next employment places, let's start thinking about the future. So that research shows that 50% of professions will disappear in the next 10 years.
I'm not asking this. I'm not asking this because it's obvious. It's obvious. I mean, because I don't think there's progress for the humankind. I think there's progress in technology, and the humankind has to catch on because technology you cannot stop. And obviously, it pulls humankind in order to change few things. I'm not taking away what the kid under the tree in Africa is studying because they study things that we don't need, but they live with, and it's very important. And it's not that I don't think we need it. I'm just curious because we always run after something and we know that things will change, and it is changing and it will change forever. But what does it really change for us as the citizens of this world?
Look, if you look at the history, people with no knowledge or no education could not get a job, regular job. They used to learn for the industrial factories. That's why they prepare. This old classroom was prepared for the industrial revolution factories. Right. So you are a cookie cutter and you prepare everybody for the same job.
Of course.
Things change, profession changed. Now the technology companies are leading, the Most of them are bigger than any other company in the history, and many people are employed by these companies. And the future is with the technology, although there are many other people in agriculture, they are in factories, but everything must use technology, even in agriculture
I
today.
totally understand. I'm talking about
I know. I'm trying
philosophy
to.
beyond that, because it's obvious. People has to accommodate to what's going on so they can be part of the race.
Otherwise, you stay behind. You know, you cannot get a job today.
I understand.
As a secretary.
Stay behind is getting job, but where are we as people?
As human beings.
As people.
As people, well, I'm not that futuristic.
No, because I was asking
prophet,
myself what
so I will
happened.
not try. But
no, I was asking myself what happened even in the classroom to the interaction of the teacher and the kids using.
Look, when you empower the teacher, I tell you my mission or my goal is to empower the teacher. And when she got from me a laptop in Yerucham and she opened it, she stood up. When she went with the bag, with the computer, she walked tall. That's what I wanted, first of all.
Right.
Secondly, she could talk to the children with the same language because they are very proficient with technology. You know, they are born into it. They are not immigrants. They are just inhabitants. You know, they're born to the technology. And even in Africa, every child almost has a iPhone, and not iPhone, a cell phone.
Every homeless in New York.
Cell phone.
Exactly. So you cannot avoid the technology. If you want to stay online, you have to adapt the technology. You have to learn it. And I think that if we empower the teachers, our children will be better. And for me, Israel, in order to survive, needs the best teachers because we are competing with the best minds. You know, Iran, Russia, Syria, China. You know, they are all great minds. And if we do not develop the best minds, we will not survive.
You know,
and that's what pushed me.
I really see the world and I'm talking about being part of smart cities, because this is really a big part of smart cities, and the world is going, you know, on that line for many years now, and it's going towards something else. In my mind, the cities will be covered and will have escalators and not roads, and, you know, everything will be with air condition and with the pictures of outside, and inside will be safer. From climate changes, from accidents, from many things. So I'm talking many years ahead, but the classroom is the beginning. And I think that we're going towards something that we cannot even imagine, but it will be taking place. Because if you think about the old cities and the walls around the cities to protect the cities, it's the same idea, just in a modern technology version. So we have to get prepared for that, because we need lots of minds and hands to take care of it.
I think when I listen to him, or now I listen to you, there must be a way when you enter a classroom is to think, what skills should I give them that they can go anywhere with it?
Exactly.
You know, like, for example, in my class, it's the ability to tell a story. Because everything is storytelling. You know, so I think,
No, go ahead.
No, I'm saying, for example, in my
case,
are
registered, there are skills for the 21st century that children must have.
Yes.
And we have to get them, you know, equip them with these skills.
We need to equip the teachers to be able to teach them.
That's what they're doing. Therefore, that's what he's saying. That's exactly the point.
She asked about the pupils, but of course, that's what we are doing. We have to equip the teachers with the tools so they can get the children with the tools that they need. Otherwise, they don't gain respect from the children and from the parents.
Can you combine the two? Can you combine or train the teacher, you know, to handle and know everything and how to deal with the smart?
That's what we do. But
yet to keep some basic values that they can share to the students.
Sure, values is another issue, I think, but, you know, we are taking care of the teachers so they have the right tools in order to cope with the children and give them the best education. I wouldn't say education, I would say learning or teaching with the best tools. Because education for me is the values. Learning and teaching is what we do. Education hasn't changed from the time of Moses,
Right.
with the values and things like that.
But Uri, how do you teach the parents? I think that most of them don't even understand the level of influence the teachers have on their kids. I don't think they understand that the whole world of the kid during the day is the teacher only, and the influence is humongous. How do you teach the parents?
I think this is one of the key factors for the success, because parents became very involved, and they are very, very involved in Israel. I don't know in the United States. They are in everything. They will fight for the child, and they will go for the teacher and curse and hit and beat and whatever you like to do. And they are not punished. The teachers do not get the backing from the government, from the mayor, from anybody, and she is alone at the battle.
Yes.
And I think this is the one thing we should do for the teachers: protect them, give them the respect, and make this profession one of the most respected in our, especially, and I'm telling you, I lived 10 years in the United States, and I knew when Israel is strong, Jewish in America are strong. When Israel is weak, everybody is taking off the kippah, walking, don't speak Hebrew, they are afraid. Israel must be strong for the Jewish people. And therefore, we need to have the best education system so we can survive as a people, not only 30 years from today, but 100 years from today. If we don't have good education system,
but it's not the only reason. It's not the only reason. We have to have good everything.
I know, but I'm one person. Of course, I have many people around me, but I cannot change everything. You talked about climate. You talked about behavior. I can.
It's all in the same box.
No, but
it cannot
I have to focus.
No. My focus, because otherwise,
but it serves everything.
I agree with you. I wish I could change everything, but I can change.
You do, and I'll tell you why. Because when you have a group of kids in the classroom like this, each one is going totally towards a different direction and takes the same tools towards his thing. So you do influence many more directions than you think.
I think, but I know, but the factor, my concentration is with the teachers. I want to empower the teachers. I want to make the profession as the number, the first 3 requested professions in the country. And I think this will change our country, because, if we don't have good education, the behavior is there. We are going, as you see today, what's happening. And I think we have to, I wouldn't say get back, we have to go forward to get the best teachers, or we cannot change the teachers also. Unfortunately, we cannot just close it and reopen it.
Where do you see the system in 20, 30 years?
I don't know. I don't see a lot of changes if we don't change the system. The system must be changed, but not only the education. I think the election system, the governance system must change, because you see what's going in Israel. I believe you follow the elections and the hatred and the division. I think we are in a bad situation right now.
Right.
I believe, I'm optimist, so I believe that the good forces will win eventually, and whoever you think are the good, but I think people will realize that we have to do something in order to live better, because our lives becoming, we live good, when you have the money, when you are successful, when you have, you are in good position, you are okay. But people who do not have connections, they don't have money, or they are, regular people, they suffer in Israel.
So I have to ask you, so here you are, like what you said right now. You come from conglomerates, from NASDAQ, from advising big companies. what are you doing here with teachers? I would,
Well,
what is it? You gave up
I think
all this big,
it's a good
you know,
question. It's a good question.
sexy, you
No,
know,
no, no.
things,
No,
advising and
I thought that I have to do some change. I don't like politics, so I will not go to politics. But I thought that I would like to make a change with respect to the teachers. And that's what I chose to do. And I've
how
made
it
some
happened.
changes. And sorry?
What made you make this decision to go from those
Well,
NASDAQ
you
people
know,
and stuff?
few things. It's a good question. It's few things. First of all, when I served on as a executive vice president at Nest Technologies at the time, we had a lot of competition from India and from China and from Russia. And we had 8,000 people around the world, our engineers, and we had 3,000 engineers in India. And we took jobs from the United States to India to develop software. And then I was afraid in my position at the company thinking about the future that the Indians might steal jobs from us if we don't wake up because they produce every year 300,000 engineers.
Wow.
Israel is producing 10,000 engineers every year. I researched into it and I thought that we have to do a lot in order to stay ahead of the game. You know, we have 100 unicorns, you know, $1 billion companies in Israel. We chose the quality that we have, but it cannot sustain for long if you don't prepare the future. We have good engineers, you know, thank God 1 million people came from Russia in the 80s, 90s, and they created the high-tech. Actually, they are the base of the high-tech, but all the teachers of physics, mathematics that are Russian teachers are going to pension and they are dying, and we don't have replacement because no one would like to be a physics teacher because the salary is 1/3 of what they can get outside as a high-tech whatever developer.
Yeah.
So I thought that we have to change it in order to save the country for the future. It's not that it's in danger today, but it is in danger in the next 30 years if we don't change the respect and the consideration to the teachers, to the education system. It's like the climate, you know, you can say that we will die because of the heat, because of the, you know, the sun. I think that we will die if we have bad education. Our inside treatment between people in Israel is worse than our worst enemies in Iran. This is something that we have to make sure will not happen, but this can happen only by education. That's my thinking. You know, we have to grow our grandchildren in a way that they will be good people that will contribute to the society, and they will be, you know, good employees of companies, and they can sustain themselves. Otherwise, what?
How do you keep teaching ethics together with all the technology?
I think that it comes with a respect of who you listen to. If your teacher is a good teacher, strong teacher, respectful teacher, you will listen to her teaching ethics. But if you behave to her like the parents shouting or kicking or cursing or, you know, bad treatment to the teachers, children will not listen to ethics. They will listen what they,
and ethics does include, you know, commitment, honesty, you know, and teachers, if they are getting this empowerment, you know,
but
they're all
losing.
Ethics is losing. Yeah, but right now, you know, once they get empowered, they will be able to have integrity and integrity.
You know, when they got, I'll tell you, when they got the computers and they walked into a meeting with the parents, you know, they walked tall. Parents respected them. Oh, she sits with the computer. She is saying, hey, look at my child. Suddenly, it's not just you know, somebody outside. She's now educated. She's strong. She is ahead of the game, especially in places like in the periphery.
The remote places,
The remote places, they have more respect to the teachers. And I think that's something that helped them get the respect from the children and their parents.
Really, what can I tell
So
you?
we
Talking to
need-
him, it's like
We
really,
need
it's open a new
more
door.
partners, more
Like you.
mayors, more donors.
Exactly. That's what we are looking for.
Yep.
And we have good people around us. Mayors are, we don't have a room in our calendar now until the end of the year to install the rooms.
Very
We are
nice.
full.
Very nice.
And everybody who visit our showroom in Shfaim, they would like it tomorrow. They understand what it can do.
This is great.
And we will start sending you newsletters or update about us. So you will see the launches that we do. And also we will show you or tell you about the success of it. We don't know yet. We cannot predict a success of a new teaching or new studying, but everybody who is expert, they say it is going to be the next classroom or the future classroom.
Yeah, and intuitively, I feel that whatever you talk about will infuse a lot of positive values into the classroom, of collaboration, of curiosity, of even of solidarity.
Interest.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Teamwork,
and also
teamwork,
sharing.
teamwork.
So there are a lot of values that will go into this. You know, I really no,
Exactly.
I'm
That's
very,
the
very
idea.
optimistic from you.
Uri, it's fascinating.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Keep doing what
Thank
you
you
do.
so much.
I hope we'll have more collaborations like that.
Sure.
And
Sure.
It was
Shana
great.
Tova.
Shana Tova,
Happy
great
New
to
Year.
Shana Tova.
Yeah,
Thank
this
you very
for-
much. And